swear I can never get this set up right. I don't know how I feel about this setup. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I decided I wanted to start a little series. Last night I was sort of letting things play on my mind, you know, story of my life. But I decided that I wanted to make kind of a chatty video talking about what was going on in my mind, what I was thinking about, stuff that I'm stressing about or whatever, and I wanted to do a little chatty video about it, and then I thought I could make this into a series and call it On My Mind. I know it's not a very original name or an original idea or anything, but I thought it might be quite interesting, and it doesn't necessarily have to be all negative things, it could be some positive things, mixture, you know. I'm just going to see how this goes. Maybe I'll do one and it won't work out that well and I won't do any more, or maybe I'll make a few more. But for now, I'm just going to make a little video talking about one of the things that I've been thinking about recently. This is just going to be sort of about different jobs and goals of mine, or dream goals, life goals, that sort of thing. I didn't explain that very well, but I think you sort of get the gist of things, what I want to talk about and what I've been thinking about. So as you may or may not know, depending on how long you've been watching me for, or if you know me personally, oh, my hair looks really long today. You may not know that I recently finished my 2-year HND course in performing arts at college. It's a university level course, but I did it at a college, and that was like the 2 best years probably ever, because it was just amazing and I gained some amazing experiences from it. I'm so glad I did it, because God knows where I'd be without that because it has literally changed my life. I know that's so cheesy, but just in terms of confidence, friendships, relationships, everything, it's just been a huge impact on my life and I've loved every minute of it. I say that, it has been kind of stressful too, so there's been times where I've hated it, but I don't think I've ever really hated it. Like, I think I just say that when I'm stressed, but overall I've really loved it. And anyway, I'm going off on one now. Basically, I've finished that now. I could have done a top-up year at university and like completed the full 3-year degree. I decided that going further on in education wasn't for me at this point. Maybe in the future it might be, and I might do my top-up year, who knows, but for now I'm just not feeling it, and I didn't want to do it just because I felt like I needed to, because at the end of the day it's always going to be there for me. I can always go back and do it if I want to, but right now I just want to go out there, get auditioning for different things, all that sort of thing, just go out into the world. This is proving to be very stressful before it has even really started, so God knows what's going to happen when I really get into things. Again, how am I going to do that? I don't know. This is what I'm thinking. I don't know what to do. These have been some of my plans. Obviously, I'm going to need to get a smaller job. I was thinking of handing in my CV to the Disney store and maybe working there, because I have one about an hour's train ride from me. The closest one to me is in Birmingham. But again, if I did get a job there, I'd be having to pay to get the train there and back like all the time. So I feel like the money would just be spent on travelling most of the time. But maybe it could work. I could maybe figure things out. Maybe I could apply there. That's one of my options, because I just want to be working for the Walt Disney Company in some kind of way. So that's a good start. If not, I can just get a little job in a local cafe or a local shop, something like that. I just need something. Or one of my other plans is to start my own little business properly. You probably know, maybe you don't, I don't know. I've done quite a lot of character events and parties as different well-known characters, like fairy tale sort of things, and I've been doing that for a while now. Like, I've been doing it on and off, but I've never had my own like website or Facebook page or anything for it and really properly advertised myself. It's always been through friends of friends or other people, that sort of thing. I've never properly advertised myself as a company or anything like that. So that is one of the options, and my mom said that she will help me with that. Like, she could maybe like help manage things. These are some of my options to go on to next, and yeah, they could work, they could be fine, but they're not what I want to do in the future. Like, they're not my main goals in life. And I know you have to start somewhere, and you do have to work up to certain things that you want to do, and it's not always going to happen straight away, and you might have to do something that you don't necessarily enjoy as much before you get onto that sort of thing. But I'm working on getting onto my main goals, which is proving to be quite difficult and slightly unrealistic. And I know it's bad to have a negative outlook on what you want to do, or just things in general, and just assume it's not going to happen, but at the moment my expectations or my hopes are like dropping quite a lot, which is a shame. I have two main job goals in mind. Both are very out there, a bit crazy, but they are the main two on my mind at the moment, and I can't think of anything else I want to do. But then at the same time, if I did those, I would be terrified, and it's quite a big step. Basically, the first one is only one that I have discovered fairly recently, over the last few months probably, and that is the Cultural Representatives Programme in Disney World in Florida. And that is, if you don't know a lot about that, you can search for it online, you get loads of information about it. Also, I recommend searching for Adam Hatton. He's got a blog all about it, he's got a YouTube channel all about it, so if you want more information, go and search for him on YouTube and on Google, whatever. He has like the most information you could ever need about it, so I'm not going to go on and explain the whole thing right now because I'd be here forever, and he'd probably do a better job, especially because he's currently doing it for the second time, so he probably knows the most about it. But basically, a quick brief explanation of what it is. If you get in, you basically move to Florida for a year. This is what I mean. This is quite a big step from living at home all my life, not really having a big proper job, and then going into moving to Florida for a year. For someone like me who is very scared of being away from home too much and is a very anxious person, you can imagine that this would be quite terrifying for me and quite a big step, but it's something I want to work towards, and if it happened, then I'd just do it, you know? I feel like it's just one of those things, if you get the opportunity, you just have to do it. It'd be a dream come true. But basically what happens is, depending on what country you're from, you will go and work for that specific country in the Epcot World Showcase. Epcot is one of the Disney parks, and they have a World Showcase where they have different sections for a load of different countries, where they sort of have shops and restaurants and just different areas dedicated to that specific country and sort of the main aspects of that culture, that sort of thing. And you, if you got the job, you would go and work in your specific country's area. So I would work for the UK pavilion, and you work there for a year, either in merchandise or food and beverages, or maybe a mixture of both. I'm not sure if you mix it up like that. I think you can get the option to, and obviously depending on which part of the World Showcase you're in, you could be working on rides. So for example, if your specific country's pavilion had a attraction there, you may get to work there. Basically you'd be working in your country's section, and you'd work there for a year. You'd get the training to build yourself up further and further, and yeah, you just work there for a year. I know it's not performance based, which is my main sort of thing, I guess. That's what I do, I like to perform. This is a great option because you can't really get character / performance auditions in the UK for Florida. So maybe if I was working there, I could audition while I was there for a part. I don't know if that would work. I don't know if you can do that, if you're allowed. I don't know how it works. This is something I'd have to discover for myself if I ever got the chance to go there. But yeah, you get to live in Florida for a year. So you're working in Disney World, which is obviously a dream because Disney World is like amazing. I mean, I've never been, but I would love to go there. It's like a life goal for me to go to Disney World. So getting to work there for a year would be pretty amazing. And when you're not working, like when you've got days off or you've finished for the day or before you go to work later on that day, you have complete unlimited access to all the parks. Working there and representing your culture would be pretty awesome anyway, but the fact that you get to be involved in all of that, and you can just pop off to Magic Kingdom one day if you've got a day off if you wanted to, like, there's just so much there to do, and you wouldn't just have to stay in Florida. If you had some time off, you could go venture out to maybe further parts of the US. There's so many opportunities there, and I just think it would be a great way to build up my confidence, give me that big push to just get out there and be brave and do something that I wouldn't normally do, step out of my comfort zone, and I'd probably have like the best year of my whole life. So the applications are currently open this month for that. I'm about halfway through it. There's still some other bits I need to finish off, like little details, my cover letter, stuff like that, but I'm getting there and I'm going to apply for that. I wasn't going to talk about it really to anyone. I was going to maybe speak to a few people about it, but I wasn't really going to announce I was applying for it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be difficult to get into. I'm not expecting anything. A lot of people don't often get through on their first try, and it is a long process, so I'm just going to stick to it, just see how things go. If I don't get in, apply again, just see what happens. So yeah, I'm not going to go on too much about that, but that is one of my main goals. Now on to the second one, which has been my absolute dream job for years now. It's got to be years. This is really difficult to talk about. I know it sounds so stupid, but it's something I'm so passionate about. I mean, I'm passionate about Disney in general, you know this, but this is just like on a whole other level. I mean, my love for Disney has always been there since literally I was a baby. I've grown up with Disney my whole life, always been a huge part of my life, forever, and more recently I've just become more and more in love with it, if that was even possible. But my love has just grown strong for it, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate Disney in general, as a company, as everything that it is. My number one main dream job ever is to work at Disneyland Paris as a character / parade performer. Even if I didn't get to be a character, say they just wanted me to do the dancing in the parades in like a random costume, or they wanted me in a show or whatever, I just want to be performing there. That is my number one main goal. If I got to be a character, that would be a bonus. I mean, I think anyone who gets a contract there, they will have to do like the fur characters, so you know, like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Pluto, Chip and Dale, they would have to play those sort of characters as well. I think regardless of if you get to be a face character or not, I think everyone has to do that. Either way, I'd get to be performing there, no matter what I'm doing. As long as I'm performing, that's my main goal. I've been wanting to audition for years, literally years. At first I wasn't old enough because you have to be 18, but then once I turned 18 I just kept putting it off, like saying things like, oh, I wouldn't be available for ages anyway, so there's no point, which doesn't really matter because you can put your availability date. Even if you can't start till the following year, you could still go and audition, say I'm not available till summer 2018 for example. But I just felt like it wasn't the right time, and then I got a bit nervous, so I just backed out. But then in April this year I actually decided that I was going to go and audition, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And I realised that the more I'm talking about this, this is literally all Disney related, so this could have gone onto my Disney channel, but I wanted to keep it for this main channel because I wanted to keep it like a series, and then I could talk about things that aren't necessarily Disney related. But maybe I could do more videos about this sort of thing on that channel as well. But I went to a Disneyland Paris audition, finally, and I don't want to talk too much about it. I know a lot of people make videos about the audition process, and I was going to do a video about it, but I am worried because they tell you not to talk about it too much. But there are a lot of videos online talking about the audition process, and people who have obviously got further than me have spoken about the whole process, so definitely look online if you're interested. That day was incredible. Like, oh my god, it was just, I mean, it's been something I've wanted to do for so long, and just the fact that I went and auditioned just meant so much. But just the whole thing was just like a dream come true, just being at the audition. I was so emotional. I was literally there like with that lump in my throat, like, don't cry Esme, don't cry, that will be so embarrassing. And although I wasn't successful, it was an incredible day, and for the rest of the day I was just buzzing. Although the next couple of days after that, I noticed my mood had just dropped completely. It was so strange. I don't know what happened. I think it was just the adrenaline of it all being so amazing, but then the next day the realisation, or it might have been that evening, it was either that evening or the next day, sort of the realisation that this isn't going to be easy. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but even more so after the audition, I thought, like, seeing all the other people that were successful and how different they were to me, and it just started to seem more and more like it's never going to happen. The day that I'm filming this, it's actually Wednesday, and I was meant to be going to audition for the second time today. Normally I would go to the Leeds audition, that's the one I went to the first time round, because it meant my mum and dad could drive up there and take me, and then they could go and see my oldest sister who lives in Leeds and spend time with her while I was auditioning, and then I could come back with them. It was just really convenient and just a lot easier to get to. But this month, they do the auditions every like 2 or 3 months, but this time round I couldn't make it to the Leeds audition because I was doing a show. So I thought, oh, I'll go to the London ones, one of the London ones a few days after, and just get the train down. As it got closer, it hit me, Esme, you're terrified of things like that. You've never been to London on your own. That's quite far to go all by yourself. And it would have cost me quite a lot of money to get the train there and back, because trains are expensive and London is expensive. And also it would have meant having to get a train ridiculously early just to get there on time. And although I was kind of willing to do it, I realised that it was getting to a point where I just didn't think it was really possible. And I spoke to a few people like my mom and Luke, and they sort of said maybe it's best to wait till the next Leeds one, which I have decided to do now, obviously, because I'm sat here filming and not at the audition. But it, like, when I sort of thought to myself, right, I can't go to this audition, I'm gonna have to wait till the next one, it like broke my heart, because since the April one I have been so excited to audition again, and it was finally coming back round to that time, and now I can't go, and it's just so annoying. And I've been thinking a lot about working at Disneyland recently, and since all this audition stuff and worrying about not being able to go and everything and having to wait till the next one, and looking into it more, and if anything I want it more than ever. This is the main thing that's been on my mind recently. All I want is to work at Disneyland and be performing there. I follow a lot of people online that do it, and I look at their pictures and videos and stuff, and it just looks like an absolute dream. And I know that I'm capable of doing those things. I know I'm not saying, oh, I'm so talented I should be working there because I'm amazing, but the dancing they do, the performing they do, I know I'm capable of. I've done it for so many years. I mean, I've been doing performing since I was like 3. Performance wise and dedication wise, I could do this, and I feel like I would do a great job, and I think it would be amazing. But the main thing that's been on my mind, and this is going to sound like I'm fishing for compliments and I'm just saying it to get attention, that is not the idea of this video at all. Like, this is just what I've been thinking and genuinely how I'm feeling. This isn't me saying I'm too ugly. I mean, I don't think I'm the most attractive person in the world at all, really, but this isn't what I mean. Basically what I mean is I don't have the right look at the end of the day, and that sort of thing goes for pretty much anything in the performing arts industry. You could be amazing at dancing, amazing at singing. This isn't always the case, but the majority of the time you could be great at all these things. Not saying that I'm like great, you know what I mean. You could be great at all these things, but if you don't have a certain look, if you don't look a certain way, that's it. It's quite a shame, because I feel like if I looked slightly different, maybe I would have more chance of getting in. Obviously I understand with this job you do have to look like, if you want to be a character performer specifically, you do have to look like one of the characters, which I get. And at the end of the day, if you don't look like a character, you don't look like a character, and it'd be weird to play a character if you look nothing like them, because it'd kind of ruin it a bit, I guess. People would be like, but say if I played Rapunzel, they looked at me like, she doesn't look anything like Rapunzel. Like, they've got to keep it as realistic as possible and make it look as much like the characters as they can, and at the end of the day that's understandable. But it's kind of heartbreaking because it is still a dream job of mine, and the fact that I may never get to work there purely because of the way I look is really annoying. I mean, yes, they could still hire me as a parade performer and a fur character performer, but I feel like no matter what, they are going to straight away judge you by your looks. And it's such a shame because I really, really, really want to work there. And the more I think about it, the more I just think, is this ever going to happen? And I know that's the wrong attitude to have, and you've got to have a positive attitude, because if you're not positive about it and you don't keep trying and whatever, it's never going to happen. I am going to continue auditioning and continue trying to get in, but at the moment it seems like it's never going to happen, which is such a shame, and I know it's bad to think that way, but that's kind of how it feels. This isn't me saying I give up, because I don't. I'm not giving up on it that easy. Maybe by some stroke of luck I get accepted one day. I'm feeling a little bit down at the moment, I'm not going to lie, because that is really my main goal. But then at the same time, if I got in, I mean, I can't even tell you how I would feel if I got in. I would just, I literally can't explain what that would mean to me, and oh, I don't want to cry because that's awkward. But yeah, that would mean a lot. But anyway, if I got in, then I have to think about moving away to Paris for however long my contract lasts. It could be 3 months, that's usually the minimum contract, or it could be like, what's the word, open-ended contract where I don't have an end date. I could be moving there for a few years, who knows. Then I've got to think about being brave enough to move away, leaving everything behind, like family, friends, boyfriend, and yes, they'd get to come visit, and I could maybe pop home and visit when I'm not working, because I suppose it's not really far away. I mean, on the plane it's less than an hour. I could get a Eurostar maybe if I had a couple of days off. I don't know how it would work, but I know I'd get to see them and I'd get to call them and stuff. And at the end of the day, you do have to do these sort of things, especially if it's your dream job. I mean, I can't pass that up just because I'm a bit scared to move away. I just have to do it. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I've kind of given you my current ideas and current thoughts about jobs and stuff and dream goals, and that is my main one. I'm still going to apply for the Disney World thing, and that would still be incredible if I got to do that. That would still be an absolute dream come true, and it would be one of my dreams coming to life. But my main goal is Disneyland Paris, and maybe one day I'll get to work there for a while. I feel like I can't give up on this. People always say if you set your mind to something, it's gonna happen. I'm like so half and half. One half is like, it's not really gonna happen, is it? I don't look a certain way. It's really difficult to get into. There's a lot of people that are gonna be more likely to get the job. It's just very unrealistic. But then the other half is like, I am so determined to do this and want it so bad that it's got to happen. I mean, I'm trying so hard at it. I've put so much work into researching it, learning everything about it, spend so much time devoted to it that it's got to happen. Like, come on, dreams come true, don't they? I could go on for a lot longer, but I feel like I've got everything out that I wanted to say. I'll just put stuff in the description box if I have anything else to add. But yeah, that's what's been on my mind the most recently. So as you can imagine, kind of stressed, kind of a little bit down, but also motivated. It's very weird. I don't know what's going on, but it's very hard to focus on any smaller jobs that I may need to get first when all I want to do is be working at Disneyland. And I know sometimes you just have to do these things, but it's going to be hard doing a normal job when I just want to work there. It would have been ideal if I'd gone to the audition today and they'd have been like, yeah, we want you to start working here like next month. That would have been ideal, because then I could just go to Disneyland Paris and start my dream job straight away. But I guess it's not going to be like that for me, unfortunately. So yeah, there's a lot of people that now work at Disneyland Paris that auditioned like 6 times before they got in, and now they're working there. I've heard a lot of stories about that, like, oh, I've been auditioning for 4 years, 5 years, and I've only just got in, and now I've got a contract and everything, and I get to be a princess. And so I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. Maybe I'll get to a point where I realise that it's not for me anymore and I just don't want to do it anymore, then that's fine. Maybe my dream goals will change. But for now, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to work towards. And it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be stressful, and it's going to be emotional, because I'm going to get rejected probably before I get in again. I don't know. I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. The worst thing that'll happen is that I get told no, which yes is really sad, but I just keep trying. I'm going to stop there because I keep going off on one about other things and this video is just going to be so long. I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. I know it was kind of random, I guess, but I just thought it'd be quite interesting to do, and to be honest, I just wanted to talk about it to someone. And I know that sounds stupid because I could have just spoken to close friends, family and stuff like that, but I thought talking about it on a video would be nice and it might help you guys out. I don't know how. Maybe you're going through similar things, I don't know. Just nice to chat to you and get your advice, maybe, or your opinions. So if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and comment down below anything related to what I've been talking about. Maybe if you've ever auditioned for Disneyland before, or if you're struggling to get your dream job, maybe talk about what your dream job is. Anything, any advice you have for me or anyone else in the comments, have a discussion. Go crazy. Maybe even some more video ideas in the comments, or any other things I could talk about in this series. Although I suppose it needs to be stuff that is on my mind, but maybe it is. Just, you know what to do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. That's another goal of mine, to maybe get to 1,000 subscribers. I know that's not a lot compared to people who have hundreds of thousands or millions, but for me, it's a goal. Probably won't get there for a long time, but yeah, subscribe if you want to. I will see you in the next video. Bye!